Good morning, this is intermediate mat work and I'm Marelize. Today our theme is based around how to move using body weight and gravity. So I'll be giving you some ideas and options of how to use your body weight to create more resistance and get a better workout, but also how to reduce the load on the body to allow the joints to glide with more ease. I've brought two props, and these are optional. And you will know this from the studio if you've been visiting our studio. One is a grey block. It's about the size of an old-fashioned phone directory. And it's really just a block to sit on. So you could use a pillow, a scatter cushion. And this one is a thin head pad, and we're going to be using this under the head for situations where you feel uncomfortable in your neck. If you need a bit more support there, if your neck muscles are straining. So you could use a paperback book, or once again, just a thin pad of whatever nature, maybe a folded towel. So those are good props to have in your home or any Pilates workout. We're going to start with breathing. Let's go down to the mat. And just start with your body in a supine position, which means you're on your back. The glutes are relaxed, the feet are hip distance apart, and the arms are resting next to you. We're going to spend a moment just to observe our own breathing. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath in and sigh, releasing any pent up energy or tension you may be harvesting. Take a breath in and release and exhale. One more. Right, now we're going to take it into a bit more of an active breathing pattern. So I'd like you to inhale through the nose, filling your lungs to full capacity, breathing down into the abdomen and towards the pelvic floor. And as you breathe out, exhale through pursed lips, as if you're blowing out a candle on the ceiling. Take another breath in. And a deep breath out. You can place your hands on your ribs at this point to feel the expansion of the chest, breathing in. And as you exhale, feel the ribs gently weaving together, knitting and softening towards the mat and pulling towards your pelvis as you breathe out with that long exhale. One more time, in and out. Now I'm going to take my hands down to my pelvis, and I'm going to feel the pelvic bones. Those are the hip bones in the front and the pubic bone in the center down below. These three bones create a triangle. And if I slide my fingers just inside of the top two hip bones, I can actually push down quite firmly and feel the deep abdominals as they contract with the pelvic floor muscle. So let's try that. We're going to refer to the pelvic floor muscle between the legs, and as we exhale, we're gently going to draw up on that pelvic floor and feel for that response in the deep abdominals. So we take an inhale through the nose. Exhale once again through pursed lips, gently going up on the pelvic floor. Noticing that firmness under the fingertips, a gentle firmness of the co-contraction of your deep abdominals, the transversus abdominis being the deepest one. And we can release again, breathing in. And exhale as I gently go up on the pelvic floor. I think of widening and flattening my abdominals, drawing them in towards the pelvic basin. Not squeezing so hard that the muscles jump out against my fingers. That would be too much effort. Let's go again. One more time. Breathe in. And exhale, connect. Now, throughout this whole pelvic floor and transversus abdominis connection exercise, we have not moved the shape of the spine. We are very neutral. Right, so you should be able to do that transversus abdominis contraction without actually flexing your spine. Now let's add another layer of abdominals, the external and internal obliques. So they're situated on the side of the body. They come from the bottom 4 ribs down towards the pelvis on a diagonal, crossing the midline. We're going to breathe in as we prepare. And as we exhale through those first lips, we draw up pelvic floor, we flatten the tummy with transversus. And then I add my second layer of abdominals, my imprint, and it's going to cause my pelvis to rock towards me. And return back to neutral. So in this one, the gap under the back flattens softly towards the mat. It doesn't have to knuckle into the mat completely, and it releases out again. I'm not negating the pelvic floor transversus connection. I'm just adding on top. So think of the layers of an onion as you go through this movement. Breathing out switches on the pelvic floor and transversus connection. And then to create the movement of the imprint, we add the obliques. It should give the abdomen an appearance and the feeling of being flattened side to side, instead of bunching up in the middle and back to neutral. If you are noticing a bunching of your abdominal muscles down the center of your abdomen, that would be your external or your superficial rectus abdominis. That's the six-pack muscle. So just keep working through this as I speak. We're going to keep doing this for another 3 to 5 times. So my rectus abdominis pops up through the center of my thorax and abdomen if I overwork the superficial abdominal muscles in this stage of the exercise. And if you need to pull back from that, just reduce the amount of effort that you are exerting and go back to the steps, the pelvic floor, the transversus, and then the obliques, rib to hip on the sides. Last one, exhale, gentle imprint. And now we're going to apply a practical movement to that imprint. I'm going to lift one leg up and then the other. From here, we go into rotation. So I'm going to actually put my legs together. And because I have those pads with me, I'm going to take one block and pop it between my legs. This is optional, so I'm just giving you some ideas. If you were squeezing onto something, it would give a good sense of adduction and awareness of the core line. So I'm breathing out to twist and breathing in to come to center. Remember, this could be a folded towel, book, a scatter cushion, anything that you have in your home. Exhale to rotate and breathe in to come to neutral. Imprint is a great place to do this exercise because it is helping us carry the load of our legs. And as we mentioned earlier, we're working with body weight today. So as I breathe out, my legs want to fall to the ground and lift my opposite side. But I'm going to resist by using the muscles behind my shoulder. So as my legs rotate to the right, my left shoulder draws back and down. And then as I come to center, I use the abdominal muscles to help to roll the spine through the imprint in the middle. And rotate. And draw through the middle. Let's have one more either side. And twist. And center. Last time, rotate. And bring it back to center. Then carefully circle your arms towards you and lift them up over your body. We're going to do double toe taps. This is what I mean. On the exhale, I tap my feet and both my arms reach over me. I'm maintaining an imprinted position. On the inhale, I'm going to lift my arms and lift my legs back to tabletop. The angle at the knee doesn't change in this one. So we breathe out and tap, and we breathe in to lift. If you need to reduce the load, because this is too much strain on your back or your neck, or your hips for that matter, remove the spacer between your legs and separate your thighs so that one leg taps the floor at a time. And you would go ahead and alternate and lift. So choose one that suits you and where you're at with your training. And let's go ahead and do 5 more and up. Let's make it 6 more just to be even for those who are working with 2 legs. That's 2 and reach. And lift on 3. I'm stabilizing my shoulder girdle. I'm not popping my ribs off the mat. 4, I'm thinking of that breath. Inhale, 5, last one, exhale, tap. Inhale, lift for 6. Let's take one knee, clasp it into your hand, reach the other leg long, placing it on the floor, and have a good stretch. The stretch opens the lower back, as well as the psoas and iliacus muscles, the hip flexors, on the opposite side. Now, as I bring that thigh across, I'm going to come into a very slight rotation of the lumbar, not aiming to get the buttock completely off the floor, feeling the buttock stretching, and then take that same leg and take it to the side and hold the opposite side down. This is an inner thigh and groin stretch. Back to the center, bend your bottom leg, reach your top leg long, and let's floss the calf muscle. So we're pumping the lymphatic drainage and some blood and circulation into the calf muscle, and give that foot a good circle. We're going to bring that leg down and go over to the other side. So thigh to the chest, bottom leg long, and breathe into the back. As I exhale, I pull the leg across my body. I will find that my hip will want to lift off the floor, but I'm going to restrict the amount of lift that I'm getting and just focus on the glute stretch here. And then from there, I take my leg in my hand and I move the thigh to the side. Then I bring my leg back to center, bending the bottom leg, reaching the top leg long, and work the calf. There we go. Flex and point. Have a little circle, and circle the opposite way, and bend the knee to place the leg back down. Turn onto your side, please. Hands together, arms reaching forward. If you wanted to pop something under your head, that would be a good idea if there was discomfort in the neck. I'm going to make sure that my starting position is good. So the hip, the shoulder, the head is in one line, and the feet are lining up with the edge of my tailbone. We're going to inhale to reach the top arm up to the ceiling, open the palm wide, and then exhale, have a good stretch through the upper body. Inhale to stay here, and use your exhale through pursed lips to pull yourself back. And in. And out. Big breath in. And bring it back and reach over. This is a rotation in the upper body, the shoulder girdle, the head and the neck. Draw the arm back. One more time, reach it out. Take it all the way over. And lift. Arm to the front. Right, that takes me into the chalk circle. The chalk circle is a variation of the one we just did. In the chalk circle, I take my arm up overhead, and then I rotate as I simultaneously circumvent my arm, reaching it all the way to the back of the room, towards my heel, over towards my knee, and forward again to the other arm. You want to think of your spine as rotating around its own central axis. So it's not an arch and a flex of the spine. It's a long neutral that is spiraling around itself. And I'm getting a lovely stretch through my pecs and the front of my chest as I reach my arm back, not forcing or straining at the shoulder. Rather opt for a higher position of the arm, sweeping the ceiling, if you're noticing tension in your shoulder. Last time, big circle around, and bring the hands together. From here, I'm going to flip back onto my back, do an interim exercise before I continue onto the other side. And that in-between exercise is the hip roll. So we're going to take a breath in to prepare. Exhale to drop your spine towards the mat in imprint, and then contract your glutes to feel the buttocks and pelvis off the floor. Roll up to your shoulder girdle, vertebra by vertebra, and feel that strong contraction of the glutes. Take an inhale to stay, and then exhale to soften the chest as you come down, vertebra by vertebra, Gently down back onto the mat. Inhale. Exhale to roll through in-breath. This is a good warm-up for the spine through flexion into a slight extension and back down. You'll also notice that we are now using a bit more glutes and hamstrings. So those hamstrings are warming up, they are contracting to lift the pelvis. As the hamstrings and glutes contract, we feel that opening through the front of the thigh and the hip. So feel that length as you reach the knees forward and roll back down. 2 more times. You're going to think about your sit bones and direct the sit bones towards the heels, then up towards the knees. As we lift up now, I'm thinking of reaching my knees away from my shoulders. And then as I come down, I'm drawing those sit bones down under and pulling them towards the heels so that my muscles create a sense of traction, of pulling apart in the spine. Let's do that one more time. Take a deep breath in. Exhale to roll down. And release to neutral. We're going to do the spinal rotation on the other side. If you want to, you can just roll over. I'm going to turn myself around so I can still see you. So we find our position. Take a moment to assess where your head, shoulders, ribs, and hips are, and then place the feet in line with the sit bones. Inhale to reach up, spinal rotation. Exhale, we open the chest. Have a good breath in here. And breathe out, sweep the arm across the ceiling and bring it forward. And lift. And open. Breathing in. Exhale and draw the hand back. And up. I stabilize my shoulder middle here. My shoulder is not dropping into my neck. Reaching your palm, open your palm wide. So you want to get that lovely fascial stretch across the front arm line. And wide rotation. Up. Over. If your back is feeling uncomfortable, it could be that you are hanging back into your lumbar as you go into rotation. So in that case, I would suggest you move your buttocks slightly backwards in space. Let's go for the chalk circle now. So big sweep around the head, reaching back and downward towards the ankle, then over and across and forward as you inhale. Exhale. And big sweep, breathe in. Exhale to rotate. Inhale to reach it forward. And exhale, good stretch. We're mobilizing the shoulder and the upper back. Last one. Circling around. And bring the hands back together. Cat stretch. I'll keep moving through onto the hands and knees next. Placing the hands under the shoulders and the knees directly under the hips. Take a moment to inhale as you assess your neutral spine. Then, as you exhale, gently lift up through your pelvic floor muscle. Feel that slight firming of the lower abdomen, and then proceed to flex your spine vertebra by vertebra. Take an inhale to stay, and exhale to lengthen from the tailbone out to the top of the head. Breathing in. Exhale, pelvic floor, deep abdominals, and then flexion. Gazing through the knees, we inhale. And then we exhale to reach out again into the long line. Change your direction this time. Go from the head first. So we nod the head, flex the spine, upper back, middle back, lower back. Inhale. Exhale, release the head and neck first. And ripple to the tail. Keep going 2 more times. And flex. Inhale to stay. And exhale to ripple out into your long line. Last time. Breathe out, we nod. And we curl up. And we reach out into that lovely long line back to neutral. At this point, I'm going to grab something to sit on just to demonstrate how one would apply that. You don't need to, you can sit flat on the floor if you're able to. And we're going to sit up tall. We're going to work the arms and the shoulders in elevation and depression. So that's a basic movement in the shoulder girdle. And we oftentimes do it with arms hanging into the side. So let's just go and experience that. This would be elevation. This would be depression. This is a great warm-up for the shoulders and something one could do during the day if you're sitting behind your desk. So let's roll the shoulders up and back a couple of times. The seeming insignificant movement can greatly alleviate tension in the neck and shoulders because it's helping to promote glide of the shoulder blade on the upper back. Now, for some of us, if your shoulders are slopey or very rounded forward, going up and down this way could cause more depression and slide the shoulder even further down. So for those of us who have shoulders like that, this is a great option. So hands right on top of the head. The shoulder blades will naturally be in upward rotation and slightly elevated. And we're going to breathe in to shrug them up to the ears now. And as we exhale and gently draw them down, you can feel that you cannot actually jam your shoulders too far down. They will stay open and you can focus on the movement from the upper back and gliding down. So when I do this in my mind, I'm thinking width across the collarbones and the back of the shoulder girdle. Last time, take a breath in, lift. Exhale, slide the shoulders down. And once you've slid them down, allow your arms to float down, keeping the shoulders where they're at. And just enjoy that sense of space that you've created. Wonderful. Right, so take your hands behind your head this time. And we're going to do a sitting head nod. So what that means, if I can just turn sideways, is I would like you to take your chin and gently drop the chin down as your gaze lowers and then look straight back up. At the same time, be aware that your head should be placed directly above your spine, not leaning forward or poking forward. So we're going to do nod and release. And I'm thinking of that very tall position of the head on the neck. Gentle nod and release. I like to imagine that I'm actually lifting my head away from my first vertebra, creating length through my spine. So as I nod, there are little strings that are pulling me up, like a puppet on a string. And nod and release last time. And a nod and release. Wonderful. And lower those arms right back down. Okay. One more movement sitting. We're going to cross the arms. I refer to this as the Cossack position or the genie position. And we're going to rotate one by pulsing 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and then come back to center. Go the other way. Pulse 2, 3. Inhale, center. Same kind of rotation that we did when we were lying on the mat, but this one loads the spine with gravity. So now gravity is falling in a straight line through my body and I'm rotating against it. That sensation could cause one to crumble and slouch. But what I'd like you to think of is pushing up against gravity with your spine, reaching up vertically, and we need a little bit of mind-body awareness to do that, right? So oftentimes when we turn, we slouch and we bend down. Think now rather of reaching up and even higher, and back to center. 2 more. Reach, reach, and center. Last 1, 2, 3, center, and release. Good job. It's time for our abdominal series. So I'm going to place all my toys to the side, and we're going to go straight into our workout. Meet me on the mat for the ab break. We take a breath in to do a gentle head nod, just like when we're sitting, and then exhale to scoop right off the mat. Inhale, stay, and exhale to lengthen and lower back down. I'm combining those warm-up principles that we went through earlier on in this exercise. So I'm keeping my pelvis neutral. I'm nodding my head on the floor, getting that length through the back of the spine. Then as I exhale and lift, I gently bring my shoulders away from my ears in a slight depression. Breathing in. Exhale. Now as I roll down, I lengthen my arms away from my head and from my ears to create that sense of elongation. And nod. Flex. Breathe in. Exhale to bring it back down. Circle your arms back and overhead, and then gently cradle the base of your skull. Elbows are floating just off the floor, and we repeat, we nod. This time coming up on exhale for 3 counts. 1, a little higher for 2, even higher on 3, and touch down on the count of 4. Inhale to nod. Exhale lift for 1, 2, 3. Bring it down for 4. Can you do this without poking your chin or shoving your head forward with your arms? And can you focus on that broad, flat abdomen, staying in neutral, and only lifting as far as the base of your shoulders? 1, 2, 3, and lower. 2 more sets. Nod, flex for 1, 2, 3. Lower down. Last set. 1, 2, 3. Lower down. Take your right arm behind you, stretching the right leg. We roll onto our side. And then I transition very quickly onto my side. Breaststroke preparations. Abdominals lifted. We inhale to reach the head and shoulders away from the mat. And we exhale to lower. I inhale to open my chest. And I breathe out to lower down. The legs are long. There is energy through the body, but the major mobilizer is my upper mid back. I'm not crunching into my lower back and stomach. Think of lifting and lift and lower. Move the arms into the hover position. As you hover, think of the top of your head reaching forward and tips of your toes reaching back now and lower down. So the hover is a little lower and flatter in its appearance than the previous one that we just did. And in the hover, I can really feel that my upper back and shoulder area is retracting slightly to create that flat upper back. 2 more. And down. Last one. And from the hover position, move the arms back under the forehead. Feel the load that you've added, and then lower down. So gravity is now pulling on my spine as I lift and lower with my arms under my head. My arms float up with me to give me a little bit more of a weight to lift. Remember, if weight lifting is not working for you today, and you need to reduce weight, keep the hands on the floor, just lift the upper body and the head. But if you can, bring those hands with you so that your upper back just gets that little bit of extra challenge. We're going to finish this one, lifting up, circle the arms under the shoulders, right under, so that you can push yourself up. Take it into a shoulder stretch where the spine flexes, and we reach back. And we're going to knit this together. As we exhale, we roll up through the spine, tail, lower back, middle back, upper back. And without too much fuss, let's turn over and go straight into the 100. We're going to take it down, legs tabletop. Prepare with the breath in as you do a gentle nod. Then exhale, scoop up, straightening the legs. We're going to start with legs vertical, work our way down for 50, and work our way back up for the next 50. Here we go. In 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 10. On every exhale, I lower the legs slightly for 20. Breathe in. For 30, inhale. For 40, inhale. And exhale for 50. Now, I'm at my lowest point. Going to start coming up every time I exhale. Hold it there for the breath in. Scoop it up. Inhale. Exhale, scoop up. Inhale, last one. Exhale, vertical. Breathe in, bend the knees. Exhale and rock yourself to sitting. Good job. Let's sit with our feet at hip distance, arms reaching forward, spine flex. The half roll back. We breathe out as we send the lower back backwards towards the mat. And we inhale to scoop up and over. I should feel my sit bones underneath as I come up on top of the sit bones and reach over. But then I should think of abdominals and glutes, dragging the pelvis back into that C shape, lowering the arms correspondingly, and breathing to come forward. I'm attempting to keep my feet down, but if that's causing a huge amount of cramping, just release the toes a bit, and out, and in. Now, ladies and gents, we go down in stages for the roll up. So I go back for 1 and 2. You've got 5 counts. 3, 4, the lower back is on the floor. For 5, we lower down. Inhale, lift. 1, roll up. Exhale, up and over. And 5 counts to go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and reach back. Inhale, lift. Exhale to scoop up and over. Breathing in to start the half roll back. Exhale to count for 5. Little increments. 4, 3, 2, 1. Arms reaching. Breathe in. Use your arms. Hold on to your legs if you need a little help today. And one last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, reach back, circle those arms wide around your body and straighten out those legs. We're going to lift the left leg up to the ceiling. If you can keep the leg straight, great. If you can't, bend either the top leg or the bottom leg and find out which starting position is going to work best for you. 5 circles crossing the midline. 1, 2. I'm aiming to keep my pelvis and spine stable. 3, 4. Keep those shoulders pulled back and down. 5. Now reverse it. And circle for 1. There should be no clicking in the hip. If you're feeling clicking, bend your top leg. 3, 4, and 5. Inhale to bend the knee. Exhale as you slide your leg down long. Then bring the other leg closer and extend from the knee. Ready, steady, and we circle. I'm trying to start and stop every circle in the same place. And reverse it. And 1. Reduce the size of the circle. 2, if you're losing stability. 3, it's about torso stability against the middle of the leg. 4. And 5. We bend the knee, we lower the leg down, and we transition to sitting. Arms up and overhead, we roll up. Come all the way forward and stack your spine up. Right, sit on something if you need to, but we're going to have our legs straight today. Right, soft knees are also allowed as long as your spine is very upright, stacking the body on top of the sit bones. Breathe in to grow tall, pulling yourself up by those strengths we spoke about. Exhale, rotate and pulse for 3, 2, 1. Inhale to center. Every time I rotate, I increase my turn for 3 counts and center. Breathe in. And inhale. We think of wringing out a wet cloth or a sponge as we do this. 1, 2, 3. Center. You've got 1 more on each side. And I realize those quads and hip muscles are getting tired. Last time. 2, 3. Come to center. Lower those arms. I'm going to move myself slightly downward on my mat so I have enough space behind me for rolling like a ball. To start, let's do a little balance exercise. Trying to stay on par so gravity doesn't pull us down to the floor. Looks like this. Exhale to tilt the pelvis. Lift 1 leg. Hold on the shin or behind the knee. Then breathe out, add the second knee. Now, think of on the next exhale, deepening the flexion slightly and then coming back. And deepening the flexion slightly and coming back. If this is causing discomfort in your lower back, please don't force it. Rather do it with 2 feet or even 1 foot on the floor. You should feel your tummy muscles and maybe some thighs and hip flexors, but no pain in the back. Exhale, inhale. It should feel rather wobbly though. Exhale and inhale. Good, one more time. And up. And breathe in. Okay, so that's going to be the initiation of each and every roll. We're going to try and stay in a round shape and not come up in between. So I make my round shape and then I rock. Forward and back. Inhale, exhale, rock. Inhale, exhale, rock. Keep your head nodded so that your chin is holding onto a tennis ball in your mind's eye. Not creating momentum with the head. And squeeze a little ice cream stick between your ribs and your pelvis. Last 2. Last 1. Find the balance. From there, single leg stretch. I'm going to go down on my back and go straight into the single leg stretch. We're going to pick up the pace today. So inhale, switch 2 times. Exhale, switch 2 times. In and in, out and out. Breathe. Head is nodded, upper body is lifted, the legs work vigorously. Last 2, last 1, and hands behind the head. Slow down the oblique rotations. Staccato rhythm. And then quicker breath. Inhale and switch. Exhale and switch. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last one. Switch and switch. Come to center. Reach both legs long. And bend. So I promise you we're working with gravity. Can you feel gravity working? It's pulling your head down, it's weighing your legs down, and your abdomen wants to buckle and fold under the pressure. So pull the abdominals towards the spine and towards the floor, and angle the legs only so far out as you can keep your head and legs lifted whilst maintaining stability through the core. Now let's reach the arms as well. Reach, circle around, reach, circle around. By adding the arms, I'm increasing the difficulty. There's more load. 2 more. 1 more. And finish in the center. Stretch your legs. If your neck needs a little break, just pop it down for a moment. We're going to do the scissors. Head and shoulders up. And now that bottom leg will want to drop like a stone because gravity is pulling it down. But I would like you to not let that happen. Imagine you're working through thick mud and you're pressing your leg through resistance as you gently pull the top leg towards you without pulling yourself up on that top leg. 2 more. 1 more. Reach and reach. Find the legs together and finish with a deep breath in. Legs and over one leg and the other. And we come back to neutral. Great. So the neck and the abdominals and the hips get a break, but the buttocks are going to take over as we do the bridge. Lift those hips, touch back down. As you exhale and press up, this is not an articulation, this is just a lift. So I'm just aiming to get those hips up, creating one line from shoulder to knee and lowering down. Lift. Lower. You should feel the contraction at the back of the leg into the buttock and through the front like you're putting on a belt. And down. Up. Down. Now we go up and we stay up. Right knee up. Roll through the foot. Left knee up. Roll through the foot. Stand very strongly on the leg that remains on the floor. Don't allow the hips to sway or sag. Lift. Lower. Now let's add some upper body awareness to this movement. Press the arms down into the floor And think of pulling your shoulder blades back into the mat. Can you feel the activation of your lats and your upper back and arm muscles supporting the movement? Last one up, stretch, flex, lower the heel. 3 times, 3 points, flex to lower, point, flex to lower. 1 more point, flex to lower, lift and bend the knee, and roll through the foot. Other side up, and lower, and lift. 1, lower, and lift 2. Don't focus on opposite side. Lift, bend, roll through the foot. We've got 1 more on either side, and 1, 2, 3, and we keep breathing. And the last side, 1, and 2, and a 3, and roll through the foot, lower the pelvis, hug the knees into your chest, and you could say this is a little shell stretch on your back. We just gently rock and breathe. Just catch your breath, last one. And deep exhale. And then grab a hold of the backs of the knees and rock out to sitting. The saw. Once again, this is an ideal exercise to do seated on a raised surface. If sitting like this causes you discomfort in your lower abdominal, hip, or spinal region. My legs are as wide as my mat, and I'm going to take my arms to that side position I had earlier. The only difference being that the palm now faces forward. We're going to inhale and rotate towards your screen. Exhale, take your opposite arm to the opposite foot. Flex your spine, and imagine you're sawing off a big toe. The back arm rotates in and out, and the thumb points to the floor. Then as I breathe in, I reach back up, and this is a moment where we sit up and open in the rotation before we turn back to center. Inhale to rotate. Exhale down. Big breath in. Exhale, center. So many of us cut out that part, and it's an important part of the movement. So as you come up, pass through that lift before you de-rotate. I'm keeping my opposite hip down, not angling over to one buttock, but staying on both sits bones. Last time, and good stretch. And up, center, and lower. Transfer the weight forward without moving your feet. They should stay this width. Grab the ankles or calves. Lift the feet to knee height, and we're going to do the open leg rocker modification with knees bent. Inhale, rock. Exhale, catch the balance. Similar to rolling like a ball. However, in this one, other than the obvious leg difference, the spine does a round back, and then you balance in a straighter back. So inhale, round back. Exhale, find a balance and act surprised. Sit up like a meerkat. That's it. Then flex your spine again, like a full armadillo, to roll. And sit up and look out, as if you're trying to peep over your neighbor's fence. Rock and sit up. That's lovely. One more, rock. Sit up and balance. Let's see if you can grab those ankles and straighten the legs. Only if you can, else stick with the Badenhorst version. And balance. Breathe in. Exhale, balance. And in. Exhale, roll through the spine. Last one. Reach and balance. And photo opportunity. Yes. And lower those legs. Fantastic. We're going to dive down onto our side. Bring the feet forward towards the edge of the mat. And just take your hand and place it on your top leg for a moment. Can you draw your pelvis away so that you feel a little gap resulting under the waist? So we're acting against gravity. Gravity wants to push us down and smudge us into the floor, sagging us. And we're using our anti-gravity muscles to reach ourselves out from the top of the head down to the heels and the tail. Lifting the top leg, and now swing it forward on 2 breaths in. Swing it back on an exhale and hold it there for a second. Inhale, inhale, exhale. Can you feel your hamstring stretching? Can you now feel your glute contracting to get that leg back? Watch the abdominals here. We're going to pop the abs forward and sag. Keep it lifted. In, out. Breathe. Exhale. My leg is skimming the room at one height above the floor, like a metal detector that you're swinging across the beach. In, out. Now let's take it into a bicycle. So I bend the leg and I cycle through. There should be no disturbance in the trunk. Nothing rolling around, nothing moving. It's a very isolated movement from the hip. And reach back. Reverse the cycle. Swing it forward. Bend. Take it back. Try and go for full extension so that the knee pulls up right there at the back before you swing it through again. And you feel the abdominals having to pull in to keep the balance. Last time. Reach. Bring the bottom leg off the floor as well. And we scissors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Place your feet on the floor where they are. Take yourself and push yourself up. Bend the knees in. And then rotate away from where your feet are into a twist. And from the twist, we're going to gently come forward and stretch all the way down. So this looks like a little shell stretch. You can take your arms further out if you can manage. Now take the arm that is furthest from the top leg and reach it all the way out and have a good stretch. And then from there, pull the hands closer to you, swing the arms around, and just have your gentle mermaid stretch to the opposite side. And bring that arm right down, and swing the legs over to the second side. Side kicks. Take a moment to assess where you are in space. Where are the hips, the ribs, the shoulders, the ankles and the feet? Is the pelvis and the head in alignment? And are your feet angled forward towards your mat? Then you're ready to go. In, out. Inhale, exhale. Snip, snip, and blow out. Kick, kick, and reach. Keeping the stability, keeping the chest soft and the shoulder back. Last one. And reach into bicycle. So I bend my knee. Inhale, exhale. I can let my foot do a little pedal action as well. If I feel a cramp coming on, you don't have to keep your toes pointed. Now reverse it, up. Press it back, get the full knee extension at the back, the glute firing, and then you come through. And 2. And 3. And 4. Last one, and 5. Bottom leg lifts, and we scissors. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Keep the pelvis stable. 8. Lower the legs, press up and bend those legs in. We're going to spin ourselves around, placing the hands on the floor. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, walk your hands out forward and have a stretch. This is like a shell stretch. Breathe deeply. Sink into the exhale. Adjust the arms slightly. Maybe you want to get your top arm reaching a little further to encourage that lateral stretch. And then walk the hands back. Find your seat. And have your stretch to the opposite side. And bring it back all the way. Beautiful. All right, we're going to be seated behind our sit bones like so. I'm going to start this exercise building up from the elbows and then onto the wrists. This being easier on a lot of people because the angle is lower. Gravity is working into our bodies in a different way. So we find our tabletop position, then lift your feet slightly higher than the tabletop. And I'd like you to make a circle with both your legs one way. So I'm going to circle towards my right side and down and around and towards my left side and back up. And I realize if you're looking at a video, you can't always see 3D. So I'm going to turn this way so the three-dimensional image is more clear. So we go down, around, find the center. Then repeat it on the left. So down and around to the left, come to center. You're trying to stay very still in your trunk. So I'm not hollowing and arching my back, nor am I sitting on one sits bone and then sitting on the other sits bone. The two legs are circulating from the hip joint. And there is therefore a little slide or a shift of the knees and feet against one another. Okay, now having done that, let's try that on straight arms. I take my arms quite far back and turning the fingers backward or slightly sideways, feet higher than the knees. We circle down and around. We inhale to lift. This is extremely difficult on the hip flexors and thighs, right? So this is a real anterior muscle sling workout. Thighs, abs, hip flexors, and you can go ahead and lie that down onto the elbows if it's too much. Be very careful for arms that do this as you go around, right? It's either straight or it's down on the elbows, nothing in between. And circle and back. Place your right foot on the floor, stretch your leg, left leg up and just give it a little kick. And then you're going to take that left leg up and you're going to circle it, straight leg, and 1. Reverse the circle, 2. Clockwise, counterclockwise. 2 more. 1 more, bend it, and take out the other leg. Shake it out, lift it up, and clockwise, and counterclockwise. Clockwise, and counterclockwise. So our final, and not for this week, or next time, hip twist, which this exercise is called, is going to be to circumvent both legs in a straight position. Lower down, reach up. Just take a breath in, sitting with the legs wide. And as we exhale, we take a spine stretch forward. All the way down. Breathe in. And up. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, nod. And stretch. Breathing in. And exhale, slowly roll back up. And grow tall. Last time. And down. And breathe in. And exhale all the way up. And grow tall. Flip yourselves over onto the hands and knees. And walk the hands out wide and further forward so that you can lower your pelvis into one line with your knees. You may come up into a full flat or use the half flat. We're going to do push-ups. So we go down, 2, 3, press up on 1, hands wide, down, 2, 3, press up on 2. Feel the glide of the shoulder blades into retraction and back into protraction. They're stable, they're hugging the back of your ribs, they're not winning. Inhale, for 3 counts, exhale on the 4th count. And out. 1 more. And out. From there, press up into plank, lift 1 leg, point that foot as you sink back into the heel, flex it. Repeat 2 more times. Point, flex, point, flex, lower the foot, lift the other one. Point, flex for 1. Long line, no piking. Point, flex, lower drop onto the knees. Push up, 5 sets. 3 counts. 1, 2, 3, push up 1. 2, 2, 3, push up 2. 3, 2, 3, push up 3. Nearly there. 4, 2, 3, press up. And a 5, 2, 3, press up. Planking. Leg pull front. 1, 2, 3. And swap. 1, 2, 3. And lower. We're going to walk back into a balance. So bring your weight back over to your feet. Let your neck hang for a moment. Breathe up to your standing posture. Aligning the body. Take a little knee bend and a stretch. And a lift. Lower. Repeat. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. And breathe out. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. We finished our gravity workout by lowering and lifting our body weight against gravity, and that's hard work. Well done to you. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.